Ethiopia's military story in 2026 has taken a new turn, not with a single dramatic breakthrough, but with steady steps toward rebuilding and modernizing its firepower. In this video we're looking at the missile launcher systems that have reappeared on the country's radar, what kind of launchers are involved, how they fit into Ethiopia's wider strategy, where they likely came from, and what their presence means for the Horn of Africa. Start with the hardware. When people say missile launcher in the Ethiopian context, they're usually referring to multiple launch rocket systems, MLRS, or truck-mounted surface-to-air and surface-to-surface launchers are the sort of mobile rocket artillery that can deliver heavy salvos over tens of kilometers. The world's most famous examples include the Soviet-era BM-21 Grad family and Chinese-built systems like the PHL-03 MLRS are prized for their mobility, salvo volume, and the psychological as well as physical effects they bring to a battlefield. We'll avoid technical how-to details, but it's useful to understand that MLRS are artillery-class systems, not guided strategic ballistic missiles, and are primarily used for area saturation and suppression. Where did Ethiopia get these systems? Over the last decade, the Ethiopian armed forces have replenished and upgraded parts of their arsenal through a mix of overseas purchases and regional cooperation. Public reporting has linked past acquisitions to Chinese rocket systems, PHL-03 among others, and to a range of other imports used to rebuild capabilities lost or degraded during internal conflict. Those procurement choices reflect a pragmatic approach, by proven, mobile rocket artillery to regain deterrent and tactical firepower quickly. How are these missile launchers being positioned in 2026? Official displays, parade appearances, and independent reporting suggest the Ethiopian military is emphasizing mobility and layered capabilities, truck-mounted launchers for battlefield fires, anti-air systems to protect critical assets, and an eye toward integrating drones and modern surveillance to improve targeting and survivability. That combination, rockets plus air defense plus ISRA, is a clear signal that Ethiopia is trying to field combined arms formations that can operate across difficult terrain and respond fast to threats. This is consistent with broader global trends showing missiles and armed drones becoming central to modern conflicts. What are the likely tactical uses and limitations? In tactical terms, MLRS give commanders the ability to deliver rapid, concentrated fire on enemy troop concentrations, logistics nodes, or to deny access over key approaches. Their advantages are salvo power and rapid area denial. Their limitations include accuracy. Unguided rockets are less precise than guided missiles, and vulnerability if static, which is why mobility and effective logistics are essential. From a responsible reporting standpoint, it's important to stress that we're discussing strategic and political implications, not operational instructions. Now the geopolitics. Ethiopia sits at a pivotal point in the Horn of Africa. It's landlocked, resurgent in regional diplomacy, and simultaneously navigating tensions with neighbors and internal disputes that can spill across borders. The reintroduction or visibility of missile launchers affects regional risk calculations. Neighbors monitor force posture closely, and external partners watch for any shift that could destabilize trade routes or spark arms races. Recent analyses have sounded warnings that renewed militarization around the region could increase the chance of miscalculation unless diplomatic channels remain open. Is there a domestic angle? Yes. Addis Ababa has signaled an interest in developing homegrown aerospace and defense capacity. A new state-linked ventures and industrial initiatives announced in 2024. A 2025 aim to expand local maintenance, manufacturing and drone production. If sustained, that industrial push could reduce Ethiopia's dependence on foreign suppliers for spare parts, upgrades and unmanned systems integration, a strategic objective for any country seeking long-term security autonomy. That said, building such capabilities takes time, investment, and skilled human capital. What does this mean for civilians and stability? The presence of missile launchers in or near conflict zones raises real concerns about civilian safety and humanitarian access. MLRS are area weapons. Used in populated areas, they risk high collateral damage. International monitors and humanitarian groups typically urge restraint, precise targeting, and steps that protect civilians. And the international community watches closely when heavy weapons concentrate near population centers or critical infrastructure. Responsible reporting and policy responses should prioritize de-escalation and civilian protection. Looking ahead, watch 3 things. First, procurement patterns. Who supplies Ethiopia, and what systems are delivered? Tells us about long-term alignment. Second, doctrine and training. Are these systems being integrated into professional, transparent command and control structures, or are they ad hoc? Third, diplomacy. Regional talks or agreements that reduce the incentives for force projection would markedly change the risk profile. If Ethiopia continues to pair rocket artillery with improved ISR and air defense, neighboring states will respond in kind unless confidence-building measures are put in place. To wrap up, Ethiopia's missile launches in 2026 are best seen as part of a broader campaign to rebuild military capability, a mix of imported systems, an emphasis on mobility, and nascent domestic industry. The implications are military, political, and humanitarian. These systems restore deterrence and tactical options to Addis Ababa, but they also raise the stakes in a sensitive region. For watchers of the Horn of Africa, the key takeaway is that hardware alone doesn't determine outcomes. Doctrine, logistics, diplomacy, and restraint matter just as much. If you want, I can now create an attention-grabbing title, 5 thumbnail text ideas, and a concise description with hashtags to help this script perform on YouTube. Tell me the tone you prefer, dramatic, neutral, investigative, and I'll produce them.